Welcome back to the Red Dice Diaries. I'm John and this is Hannah.
Hi.
And all this month we're going to be looking at the various prompts for RPGaDay 2025. So let's get into it.
So, day 29 and the words connect. What are you connecting, John?
Well, I thought I'd talk for a little bit about how RPGs can enable you to connect with other people. And don't worry for anyone who's reaching for the sort of off button. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to get heavily into like psychology or people trying to resolve their like psychological issues in D&D and all of that sort of schmozzle. But I'm just talking about how there's a lot of people who I game with now who, before I started gaming with them, I didn't know them at all. And now you might say, well, how well do you really know those people? Some of them I know better than others. Other people I know sort of like vaguely what they've got going on. You know, you have a bit of a chit chat at the start of a session, you get to know people a bit. Mm-hmm. And without role playing, because they live in vastly different areas around the country and even the world, depending on your game. Like I say, I run a lot of my stuff online. So I've got people from sort of all parts of the UK, Scotland, Ireland, Finland. And I've played with people all across America, Eastern Europe, stuff like that. All people that I probably wouldn't have interacted with at all if it weren't for RPGs. Likewise, there's numerous people I know who do like podcasts, and I sort of occasionally chit chat with them. People on Discord, Discords, forums, stuff like that. All drawn together by a shared love of tabletop RPGs. And obviously, like any group of people, you know, you have your arguments with people. Mm-hmm. There's people you don't get on with quite as much. There's people you get on with better. People who tend to have similar views to you. People have different views to you. But they're all people who I am pretty sure, if it weren't for the internet and tabletop RPGs, I would have had no contact with those people whatsoever. My contact would have been limited to only seeing people when I go to conventions or I run games at conventions and stuff like that, which, don't get me wrong, is absolutely great. And it's nice to be able to sort of like personally game with people and stuff like that and do it face to face. But I think if one thing recent years has taught us, it's how useful online communication is.
And if you think about it, if it weren't for RPGs, we'd never have met.
Well, that's quite true. I mean, Hannah used to work at the local game shop in Burton-on-Trent. Sadly, not a bricks and mortar store anymore. But yeah, that's pretty much where we met. So I might not be married if it weren't for tabletop RPGs.
I'm sure you would, just maybe not to me.
Well, quite possibly. You don't know.
I'm quite glad it worked out this way.
Well, yeah, so am I, love. But yeah, one of the main, aside from the entertainment bit of RPGs, which, don't get me wrong, for me, that's the main point of an RPG. It's logging onto your computer, sitting down in your dining room, your basement, whatever you're doing, and having fun with your friends, maybe even people you don't know if you're running at a convention or whatever. But the whole idea is for everyone to sit down and for everyone to have fun and a good time. And as you're doing that, you inevitably make connections with people. Like, just by talking and by gaming with people, you sort of get to know them a bit. And I'm not saying you get to know people deeply and you forge like deep connections that last a lifetime. I'm sure that can happen and probably has happened. But even if it's just sort of connecting with people for an hour, maybe two, playing a little bit of a game, you have a bit of a laugh together, you all have fun. And I think that's one of the most valuable sort of things when it comes to RPGs for me. Sort of having that connection with other people and everyone around the table having fun. And speaking of connections, obviously we'd love to hear your viewpoint on the episodes that we've been putting out. If you're putting out RPGaDay episodes yourself, we'd love to hear about that as well. You know, send us your links to your podcasts, your blogs, anything like that. If you want to drop us a message, reach out and connect so that we can respond to your messages. You can leave us a message on SpeakPipe. There'll be a link in the description of this show. Otherwise, feel free to comment on wherever we post these episodes with your links to your stuff for RPGaDay or other people's stuff that you've listened to and you think is great for RPGaDay. We'd love to have people sort of spread the positivity about the hobby as far and wide as we can. And we'd love to listen to some cool stuff about RPGaDay as well from other people. So you'll be doing yourselves, other people, and us a really big favour if you could drop us a message or just post links to stuff that you're finding really cool for RPGaDay. So thank you very much in advance, and we'll see you on the next episode. So that's it from me and Hannah for this RPGaDay 2025 episode.
Bye.
Hopefully you'll join us in the next one. And until we see you again, take care, stay safe, and whenever you're playing, have fun.